Okay, so um, apparently my phone, my app decided to die. So I'm sorry if you two were disconnected and everyone else who is watching, but suddenly my app closed and I couldn't open it, and I was afraid that my whole stream was lost, but it is still there. Just it cut me off. So I will then maybe pause this that screen that stream and this stream, maybe put them together or put them one by one and got them or on the YouTube. Um, Now I think everything is working. Um, so um, I hope everything will be good, so we can stay here for a bit more. And thank you for all of your support. Um, and thank you for all of the comments about it. So I was talking about Kisniver. It is an interesting anime, and I think it is possibility that that anime could be possible because science is progressing more and more. And like I was telling in blog Psychopaths, that kind of things which I thought, I don't know, 5 years ago that were science fiction are actually real now. So in that article about Kisniver, I was talking about certain things we humans are capable of. I need to think. Uh, I need to think about the name of certain parts of our brain which allows us uh, to actually feel pain of others and things like that. Because I only know the word in my language. Need to Google this real quick if it's the translation of those parts are the same, because we can actually explain Kisniver that way. Yeah. So the most important thing when it comes to human interactions are mirror uh, neurons, or yeah, like Lala explained, it can be sympathy in a way. Fun fact, but we psychologists mustn't be sympathetic. We need to be empathic. This is what they told us in one of our classes. Yeah, sympathy, empathy. Sympathy is more like you can actually feel the pain, and you can easily relate to the person. And empathy is that you are actually really sad about something, but them and you understand them, but not to the point that it is overflowing you and that you can relate and connect to them. Because in psychology, we need to keep certain distance. But yeah, both sympathy, empathy, that that kind of things, they're kind of connected with mirror neurons. Okay, they were researching it in experiments. They were experimenting on chimpanzees, I think, or other animals. They were noticing that uh, if a certain uh, animal behaves that way, the other animal who is observing actually had activated certain part of the brain, and they were seeing that those kind of parts are actually the parts which are observing others' behavior, thinking about it, and relating to them. So, for example, if someone hit someone and they started to cry, those neurons would activate and we would actually start feeling something towards them, empathy, sympathy, or something like that, and actually feel what it would be like if we would be hit at, or what they actually feel. And those neurons are really important. And when I was talking about it in Kisnaver, I was explaining that yeah, we actually have that ability to feel others' pain, but the idea of Kisnaver is that you can actually feel that pain really intensely, to the point you are becoming maybe another person. It is more like sympathy in a way. And it is actually a really good solution for people who don't feel anything when they are watching someone suffer. Because I believe that majority has that feeling, when someone is crying, you also can feel a pain inside of you. But for those who cannot, they could actually feel the physical pain. So in Kisnaver, everything is on physical pain, but the more they are feeling the physical pain, the more they also feel the other feelings of psychological pain. So it is really interesting, and I think that is a solution to some of problems, especially because nowadays it seems that people are not that empathic toward others, and they don't really feel bad for them in a way. There is lots of bullying and other things, especially online. And I think it would be different if you would type something mean and suddenly you would be hurt too. Uh, this is like in physics when there are Newton laws. So when you hit something or cause something, you also receive that something back. Basically, if you hit the table had that effect of the hit, but also your hand starts to hurt. So it would be really good solution that if you hurt someone, you actually can feel the pain they're feeling. But of course, there is a problem. The pain we are receiving is not the same. So if someone is crying and hurting, we might not cry in the same position or situation. So the idea of Kisnaver is good because they're actually feeling the physical pain, but at the same time, some were more sensitive, some not. But yeah, the whole idea, I think it is good. The problem is, it is ethical or is it not? And there is a problem of experiments. And in Kisnaver, there are lots of things which are not true. One of them is when the main character gets white hair. I was researching that. It's called Marie Antoinette syndrome, and actually, even though it is in many anime, many movies and books, it is actually non-existing syndrome. It doesn't exist, and it is more like a fantasy. You cannot get white hair just because of that kind of stress. And yeah, like Liam explained that there is like lots of lack of empathy nowadays, and he said, I feel like it does sometimes relate to technology because we can't always relate to a picture over the screen. I'm not blaming technology, of course, just saying it can have an effect. Yeah, I agree, because we cannot relate to picture and a screen, and sometimes we don't feel the connection between us and the person on the other side. But like I said, I believe many people are actually developing that kind of skill. I'm also interested in evolution and how we are changing, and I can see there is lots of changing on psychology side. So we have people who lack empathy, but people who are really high with empathy, and they can also feel things behind the screen. And I believe something will be done in that direction, but that is not a science fact anymore. It's more like prediction and what I believe it is happening, which can be or cannot be true. And yeah, like Lala said, that people can be more set over characters in game dying than actually people in real life. And I didn't think about that kind of thing why is like that, but I see that it is actually true. It is an interesting fact, and I would like to think about it more. Why characters in game than actually people in real life? Well, one thing I can think of in those seconds is that we are spending more time in a game than with people in real life, so we are more attached to them. Same with anime. Than people in real life, which are always busy and don't have time for ourselves. I also notice, for example, that we can be sadder about people, friends we met online than friends and people in real life. Also because same effect, because having more we are spending more time with them. Also, maybe character in game, especially if you're playing it. I was also reading, I think it was, I don't know if doctor's degree or just doctor's thesis or master thesis, but someone was exploring how identification in games work. So when you are playing a certain character, you can actually identify with them, and it can actually feel like you are that kind of character. And of course, if it dies, it means that some part of you has died. I imagine that some explanation can be like that. Um, but yeah, otherwise, it is very interesting thing to think about, especially nowadays with less and less empathy. It seems like because we are exposed to violence so much, and at the same time, we don't. There is less and less contact with other humans because of technology. It seems like that could be a cause of lacking empathy. And what is happening right now. And then, like Lila said, many games can make you cry. Same with anime. And with games, I think it is even more intense because you're actually in that story. You're actually there. You are a character, and sometimes it feels like you are the character itself, like you are living there alive. Because in anime movies, you actually need more. And of course, in books, absolutely, you need more imagination and um, you need to picture yourself in that kind of places, and some people cannot do that, but in a game you actually need to play a character and lead them to the goal and explore their lives, so it is more intense, and it can actually, in my opinion, in a way make you cry more or scare make you scared if you are in scary place. So it is like that, I think. Also because there is identification and probably it is stronger, so it is a really interesting thing to explore. And I think it is that kind of good environment in which you can explore yourself and your feelings and learn something new. Some games can be a really good thing if, of course, they are proper for proper ages, and if you are not exaggerating with it, they can learn you a lot about different environments. Yeah, and then Lila also said an interesting fact. I've heard too that apparently our brain can tell the difference between fictional friends to real life friends. Thus, we get attracted to characters like in anime or games. So it goes back to what you said about us being more involved uh, in games as well. Oh, so we get yeah, we get attached to characters, but we can also get attractive to characters. Like some people even say they are falling in love in certain character. Um, yeah, it's really interesting that our brain can tell the difference between those. That kind of things are called parasocial relationship and interactions. They're also one of my favorite things to research, and they're also part. They were also part of my thesis, um, because actually, well, you can say our brain or our mind works like that. That when we are watching certain character, we feel if we are watching them for certain long of time and can relate to them and identify with them, we actually can have the feeling that we are their friends or their family, or we are in love with them, and this is actually a normal thing. And then, of course, if they die, it feels like a friend would die. Um, so it is possible that our brain can tell the difference. Maybe our brain is like, you need someone to be there for you, and it doesn't matter if they're fake or they're real. I mean, in meaning of if they're fantasy fiction character or if they're a real person. Uh, so yeah, if we are involved with games, it feels like we have friends and family and so go on. Especially in that kind of games in which you have a story. Like Life is Strange is one interesting um, game. I mean, if you have a story, of course, every game has a story. I mean, if you there is real open world when you can actually live that character's life. So in Life is Strange, that is possible. And you also make decisions. So it feels like you are making decisions for yourself, or for that character. So yeah, those topics are really interesting because games are popular. There are many addictions to gaming. I would love to see if addiction to gaming is the top one addiction with non-chemical addiction, because Worldwide Health Organization changed it to disorder, or there are some other problems. I heard in one of the biggest one of the countries with the biggest problems in gaming addiction is South Korea, and I heard they actually built a system in which after certain hours the internet and network stop working for certain ages, um, and they have problems with gaming and they are gaming too much apparently. But I don't know what's your opinion about this, but I think they would need some other solutions, because you can shut down the system, but if you shut down the system, the one who is addicted would suffer for a bit, and then wait until the the hour of gaming comes, or network works, and they would game even more. So they would like to they probably feel like they lost a lot of time and they would like to get the time back. So the problem there is that country is really stressful, especially for young people, because they need higher grades, they need to get a good job, and it is a country with one of countries with the most suicide rates among the young ones. And so I believe that video games represent some kind of escape to them, and problems can be solved otherwise. So because of that, we psychologists, some of us, well, don't agree with Worldwide Health Organization for calling video games gaming a disorder, or there is like gaming disorder, video gaming disorder, or something like that, because the solution is not in disorder itself, but we need to find what's behind it, and mostly it's like stress, anxiety, depression, family problems, and so go on. And I think that many times we are forgetting about environment and what's behind all of that, and we are only concentrating on addiction and how to prevent it. But no, if you want to prevent certain addiction, you need to ask yourself why certain addiction appeared. Is it because of the games, because they are fun to play, or is it because there is something else behind them? So that is a thing we need to work on. Um, and Liam said that people typically rebel when they don't get their will. I found this especially in relation to internet, etc. Yeah, when they don't get when people don't get their way, they start to be aggressive and rebel. And in history, there were lots of forbidden things, but people still find a way. Even if you cannot game at certain hours or things like that, you can actually do other things, which could be also more dangerous in my opinion. Or you just could wait and not do anything, and that problem which is causing you to overgame is still there. And I see on global side that um, many solutions are like, we need to stop behavior, so we need to disconnect the internet, we need to get away the smartphones, and then it stops. But if you're getting away a thing which is keeping a certain person because of their problems alive, which is keeping them happy, then you didn't do anything special, you only got things worse, because you took the only like pleasure or the only happy thing in their life. You actually need to replace that happy thing online or in gaming world with another thing. So I heard that many times, and many times, that if a person is treated for addiction, they actually in family they need to find another activity for them to do instead of gaming. Okay, so that's one of my views as well. And Liam, thank you for you to join this stream and podcast. I wish you good luck with your schoolwork, and thank you for joining me, and I hope I will see you in the next podcast or stream. I will also slowly finish this. I think this was my longest stream yet. It is really interesting topic, and I guess many people would like to know about games, and I enjoy talking about psychology and other things. So I think since it is really late, I can wrap this up and finish this and upload it on YouTube and on Facebook as well. Um, so if you have another question or final thought, and then I will finish and probably see you next Friday or Saturday, depends on my mood and how my work is going on. today I thought I had more time than I would have tomorrow, so I decided to do stream today. And I really hope that somehow we can gain more people to be here, so and on YouTube, so I can then make live streams there. But I'm grateful for everyone who is joining and everyone who is asking questions or giving a like or everything, just so I can see what kind of topics are interesting and what would you like to see. And I'm really happy if someone learns at least one thing and someone helps at least one person, because like I always said, we are connected, and if you're helping one person, you never know, maybe in 10 years they will be helping you back, or otherwise, if you hurt one person, you don't know, maybe in 10 years they will hurt you back, or something would happen like domino effect. And thank you for all your support and those who are um, so I my page doesn't have badges and things like that, but all of you who are uh, actively participating in streams and giving me comments and liking and sharing, I will call you my top fans, and you actually have a chance to tell me before stream what would you like to see more, and you can send me questions, and I will also tell you when will be my next stream. And also for those who are interacting with my page more, usually I help everyone, but those who are interacting more with me, I help them more because we have more interactions. So if you want any help, you can also write in my page inbox or on my page, so I can help you as much as I can. Maybe only with a kind word or advice. I'm here to help and to teach people. As long as I can do that, I'm happy. But I hope more and more people will see this, because if I get, like I said, one person who can help another person, that's completion of my goal. And also I want to teach people more about psychology, that first of all it is very interesting science, and that it is science, and that we will need it more and more, and that psychology is everywhere, and that we psychologists are people see us really stereotypically, so I would like to tell you what's true, who we are, what we are doing, and that we are also human and we also make mistakes. We don't have a magic wand, so we are kind of at the same position, but we were taught and professionally taught how to help people or to do researches and so on. So yeah, if you don't have any more questions, I would like to thank you for joining me today on this journey in video games. I will most likely post a poll or a post in which you could write what you want to see in my next streams. So yeah, and don't forget, it is still suicide awareness prevention of suicide month, something like that. So till the end of the month and for the whole year, try to look around you and see if someone is really in need of help, or talk and advise them maybe to seek for professional help. If not, stay with them and talk with them. and mostly listen to them and see what they need and check how are they, because suicide is one of the biggest problems or reasons for people to um, well, it's one of the biggest problems since our society, especially among the young people, and it is very good to help as much people as I can, as you can, as we can, because like I always say, we all matter in this world, no matter who you are. We are all a part of one big chain, one big connection between us. So always remember that no matter what you do, no matter who you are, you matter. Thank you for today, and I will see you in my next podcast.